What's T building? Pause. What do you think he's building? Make a guess out loud right now. Okay, play. Pause. Can you tell what it is yet? Let's make one more guess. Okay, what do you think it is? Okay, play. If you guessed a dog, you're right. T built a dog.
Yeah, you can put that block over there. Good job. Somebody help Varnell. Oh, go help Varnell. Oh, hey, Kids Club. Have you been there for a while? Can you guess where I am? I'll give you a hint. I have to wear bright colors and this hard hat to keep me safe. Now, if you were thinking or even said construction site, you're right. But T, why are you at a construction site? Oh, I'm not really at a construction site. This is just a background, see? It's not real. I just needed to use this cool background for today's big idea, which has to be around here somewhere.
Behind you!
What's that? The big idea's behind me. Oh, you mean the construction site. Yeah, I know that's there, but I have to find the big idea. Give me a second.
It's on your back!
What's that? The big idea is on my back. Oh, get it off me, get it off me! Sorry about that. I found the big idea. Today's big idea is we can build our lives on Jesus. Oh yeah, now I remember. I'm at a construction site because they build things. Now, when you build something, you're starting with nothing and hoping to grow it into something. Many times, we hope that whatever we build is strong and sturdy and has a good base or foundation. And that's the kind of life that we want to build with Jesus. Oi, doi, malloy. I forgot. I have the perfect video for today. Let's check it out. Varnell, where is your hard hat?
God's story, the parable of the two builders. So part of God's story is about a wise builder and a foolish builder. And it goes like this. Jesus taught people that loving God and loving other people is the first and greatest commandment. He also said that following him meant more than just hearing his words, it also meant doing what he said to do. That's what it really means to be in God's kingdom, putting God's words into practice. To help people understand the difference between hearing and doing, Jesus used parables. A parable is a story that teaches a lesson about God. This is the parable of the two builders. Jesus said, "Everyone who hears my words and puts them into practice is like a wise man. He builds his house on the rock. The rain comes down, the water rises, the winds blow and beat against that house, but it does not fall. It is built on the rock." The people listening probably thought the story made sense. Some of them had probably built their own houses with their own hands and knew it was wise for a house to have a solid foundation under it, like rock. But then, Jesus told them about another builder. "But everyone who hears my words and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man. He builds his house on sand. The rain comes down, the water rises, the winds blow and beat against that house, and it falls with a loud crash." And that was it. That was the end of Jesus' parable of the two builders. The crowds listening were amazed at his teaching because Jesus sounded like someone who really knew what he was talking about. Some of them could probably think of houses built by foolish builders. The houses might have been really tall and looked really strong, but none of that mattered if the house was built on a poor foundation. The difference between the wise builder and the foolish builder wasn't how smart they were, or how much money they had, or even how cool their houses were. Remember, rain and wind came to both their houses. Instead, what made the wise builder different from the foolish builder were his actions. See, it was easy to build a house on a foundation of sand, because where Jesus lived, there was sand on top of the ground. But to build on a foundation of rock, the builder had to put in extra work. The builder had to dig and dig and dig until he reached bedrock. In the same way, it's easy for us to say we follow Jesus, especially if it's easy for us to go to church and hear about Jesus. And those are good things to do, but if that's all we do, that's like staying on the surface level, like building on sand. And God wants our faith to be deep. The way that happens is when we do what Jesus said to do. When we love God and love people. We can love God by praying, worshiping, and spending time with Him. And we can love people by serving them, being kind, and even sacrificing for them. Now, putting Jesus' words into practice takes, well, practice. And we don't always get it right the first time. Jesus said it could feel like squeezing through a narrow gate, while everyone else just walked through the wide gate. So the more we practice being like Jesus, the more we become like Him. But we have to start with a good foundation. And that's the story of the wise and foolish builder. So in case you missed it, here's the quick version. Jesus told stories called parables. One parable is about the wise builder and the foolish builder. The wise builder built a house on rock. The foolish builder built on sand. Rain and wind came. The wise builder's house stayed standing. Jesus wants us to do what He says to do. Over time, we become more like Him. And that's a part of God's story.
What's T building? Pause. What do you think he's building? Make a guess out loud. Okay, play. Pause. Can you tell what he's building now? Let's all make one more guess. What do you think it is? Okay, play. Did you guess airplane? Because T built an airplane.
That's a quality build, T. Oh, hey Kids Club. I was just checking out this airplane I built. You see how it just stands on its own? Pretty cool. It makes me wonder though, if I would have built this on something else, would it have fallen apart? If I built it on water, do you think it would have stood? If I built it on a pile of slime, do you think that it would stand? Probably not. I had to build it on something firm and reliable, something I knew that would be supportive. Now think about building your life on Jesus. His words are the strong, firm base, and our actions are like the house. If we do things that are not pleasing to God, we aren't building on a strong foundation. Jesus says a lot of things in the Bible to help us build amazing lives. And when we get back from a short break, I'll give you examples of things that Jesus said that will help us build our lives on Him. See you soon, Kids Club. Welcome back, Kids Club. Today, we're talking about how we can build our lives on Jesus. Earlier, we looked at the parable of two builders. It's a short story in the Bible, but it has a powerful message taught by Jesus. Jesus says that people who hear His message and act on it are like the builder who builds their house on stone. The stone is firm and solid. It lets the builder have a strong base for their house to sit on. Then Jesus says that people who hear His teachings and don't act on His words, then they are like the builder who builds their house on sand. Now, watch as I put this house on sand. Now, it may look like it's all right, but over time, it might get blown away by wind or washed away by water, or little creatures can come and sink it by digging holes. See, this foundation is not strong enough to last forever. T, how does this apply to building a life on Jesus? Excellent question. It means that if we listen and we follow His teachings, we are building our lives on something strong. we are building faith. And that will last us through hard times. Now, storms may come, problems will happen, but if we are building our lives on Jesus, we are building our lives on a great foundation that will keep us standing tall. Now, it's important to know that just because we're building our lives on Jesus doesn't mean that our lives will be perfect. Even the house that was built on stone will have some wear and tear over time, but over time, the house that was built on sand will be gone completely. Believing in Jesus and building a life on His words and His love is the best way to live. Who, me? I'm not building anything. Oh. I guess I am building something. Oh, I know. How about you guys guess what I'm building? You can shout it out at any time when you think you know what I'm building.
What's T building now? T built a house.
Finished. How many of you knew I was building a house? Oh, I love building things with these tiles. Now, sometimes I can build based on the knowledge I already have, and then other times I need a guide. I've been using my phone, but this is a guidebook for these tiles. Now, this book will help me build random things, but this book has different types of instructions. This is a Bible, and it has a lot of knowledge on how to live a good life and how to love God and love other people. Now, we don't have time to go over everything in the Bible, but I do want to leave you with 3 things that Jesus said that will help you build a life on Jesus and build a life on His words. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. Matthew 22:37. Love your neighbor as yourself. Matthew 22:39. Do to others what you want them to do to you. Luke 6:31. All those verses come directly from Jesus in the Bible. It's great to know that we can read and listen to Jesus' teachings. When we hear His words, we can make the choice to follow them. And when we do that, we are building our lives on Jesus. I'll see you soon, Kids Club. I wonder what else I can build with these tiles.